Okie dokie, let's get these cheesy pork chops started off, and we gotta start with the spice mix. What we have here is a cup of panko breadcrumbs, a cup of Parmesan cheese, about a tablespoon of paprika, more or less, depending on how paprika you like it, and about a teaspoon of cumin. And you want to mix all this up, make sure it's good and mixed, busting up all and any lumps in the Parmesan cheese. And we want to set that aside just for now. Okay, let's start on the cordon bleu mac and cheese. What you want to do is you want to get about a half a pound of bacon, chop it up, and fry it up in a pan over medium-low heat. Remember, bacon doesn't do too well on high heat. Bacon needs to go low, and it needs to go slow, because you don't want to congeal the fat, you want to render it. Okay, let's get the pork chops all nice and breaded up, and then we want to put them in the oven at about 300 degrees till they reach 165 internally. And basically what I've got here, this is the recipe for 6 pork chops, about a ½ inch thick. And I got about 5 eggs beaten to shit, and of course the breadcrumb mix that we made earlier. And basically you want to dip the chop in the egg mix, and then roll it around till it's evenly coated in the breadcrumb mix. And again, this will take about 20-25 minutes to bake, give or take. If you do time this right, everything should be done at the same time. If by some minor miracle the pasta mac and cheese dish is done before the chops, just put it on low and simmer it for a little bit. Okay, in a pan you want to start heating up at least 10 ounces of cubed up ham. You can find this anywhere in your local meat department, or just grab a piece of ham and cube up 10 ounces. At the very least, if you want a little more meat, add a little more. I wouldn't go too much below that because it gets a little saucy then. And you want to re-add the bacon into it. And you want to give this maybe a minute to kind of heat up a little bit. If you want the ham a little crunchier, give it a, 3-4 minutes by itself, just so it kind of gets that crust. Remember, ham's pre-cooked, so you don't have to worry about having underdone ham, because it's fucking impossible. Then you want to grab a pint of good old-fashioned heavy whipping cream. And remember to stir this slowly, otherwise if you stir too fast, you're going to end up with whipped cream. And you want to drizzle all this in, the whole goddamn little pint. And yes, before somebody says it, I'm aware this thing is 5,489 calories. Shut up. It's chicken cordon bleu mac. How the fuck is it supposed to be healthy? And then you want to give the cream and everything a chance to heat up before we add the cheese. Okay, adding in batches and adding slowly, you want to add 1 cup of Swiss cheese and 1 cup of provolone cheese. I couldn't find shredded provolone, so I just grabbed a block and cubed it up. You can't find shredded Swiss cheese in your local store, grab a block and cube it up. And the reason you want to add it in slow batches, gives it a chance to melt, gives it a chance to get incorporated, and it won't burn on the bottom. And you want to add it, I added it in about 3 batches. That seems to be a good little ratio. And then you want to leave this to simmer for a little bit so the sauce has a chance to thicken up. We want to try to get some of that water out of there so that we have a nice thick sauce instead of a crappy thin sauce. Because unlike women, sauces are the exact opposite. Thick is better than thin. Okay, and after you've added the cheese, you want to add a very generous amount of freshly ground fine black pepper. Put it on almost the finest grain you can get. And I mean pepper the shit out of it. Now, everyone's wondering, Dave, where the fuck's the salt? Well, keep this in mind. The ham is extremely salty, and the bacon is salty, and that is seeping into the cream. So if you do add salt, I'd be very careful, maybe just a half a turn on your sea salt grinder, but you shouldn't need any. The ham and the bacon should provide all the salt you need. Also, I believe the Swiss has some salt in it too, so should be more than enough in the dish. Okie dokie. Now we've got our shells done. Wasn't quite mac, but close enough. Shells and cheese, mac and cheese, who gives a shit? It's the same goddamn pasta shit. Alright, you want to put that wonderful sauce that's thickened up, that's got the bacon and the ham, and you want to give it a good stir around, and this should complete our cordon bleu, I guess, shells and cheese. And finally plating. This should be what your cheesy pork chop and cordon bleu shells and cheese look like. I just put a little bit of extra pepper on the top, just for a little bit of decoration. Alright, that's how you make this. Enjoy.